Hello, fisherman. I'm getting stuff set up, chat, so don't worry. $132. Damn. The news and stuff won't take long to go through, so. Okay. Hello, chat. We have some news to look at and stuff, unfortunately. I guess we can start there. Here, let me go like that. So, we have a new video to look at from Houndish. There's an article by Paul Tassi about moving employees and stuff, and I think it's a good gauge on kind of where the community is, where we're heading for stuff. It makes sense to me what they're going to talk about. Basically, half of Bungie is on Destiny, half is on Marathon. It used to be more of a Destiny focus. Not anymore. Which makes sense, you know. New thing needs attention. It's like having a kid, I guess. This is basically kind of the point of like, this is normal. It happens all the time. There's still people working on the game. Paul Tassi does say, like, I think Houndish also says in the video, game used to run on all of Bungie. Now it's running on half, minus the people they fired also. So we'll see. But I think it's a good thing to
Right, some Bungie news today.
See and gauge where we are.
About both Destiny and Marathon. As new reports released give us an indication of how Marathon performed in its launch month versus other titles. And stemming from that, plus with discussions about player numbers, the speculation about how Bungie will handle Marathon moving forward, including whether they could move to a kind of free-to-play model, or at least have some free content to try and bring more players on board. Separate from that discussion though, let's talk about the development split at Bungie and how many folks are working on Marathon versus Destiny, where reportedly, Marathon now just about has the majority of Bungie's workforce on it. And there'll be a mix of reactions to that. Some folks will say, well, of course they are, given that this is Bungie's new game. And when we look at the state of Destiny, it of course raises questions about what are that dev team actually working on. Simultaneously, I think some folks will naturally feel frustrated at that, especially on the Destiny side, as the last reports we had indicated that the majority of folks at Bungie were still working on Destiny. So it's an interesting discussion.
I mean, we'll
start with the Marathon stuff.
Expected.
Kotaku highlighted Marathon was the 4th best-selling game in the US in March, although that is based on games that actually report their sales data, as not all of them do, and that includes things like Crimson Desert, right? We know that that has been massively popular, but there is no full sales data for that title, so how valuable this info is, obviously is up for debate, but according to Sakana, Marathon was the 4th best-selling title in the US during its launch month.
I think, so, fourth best selling in the launch window. I think if you counted the games that don't release their earnings, it's probably closer to like, I would say 7th, maybe 8th. That's a bang outside. In spots like 6 to 8, I think is actually where it is. In terms of if that really matters, I don't think so. Like we've seen with a lot of games, especially live service, I don't think Marathon is a live service in the same way Destiny is. It's still live service because it's getting updates of the stuff, but it's more delayed, so it can survive longer. Whereas Destiny needs constant updates. Having a 6-month window with nothing is killing the game, right? And we're seeing that. The point of the sales, though, that's on PC. Marathon has not sold well on console, or at least as well on console as it has on Steam. And that always gets brought up, like, when you see on Twitter or whatever people bringing up Steam charts, that matters more for Marathon than Destiny, because Destiny's main player base is console, not PC. So selling doesn't matter as much as are you retaining.
So apparently the MLB show took the top spot in the market research company's published US sales. Right behind it was Resident Evil Requiem, then WWE 26, and finally Marathon. Although they highlight Nintendo's new Pokemon game doesn't report sales data, the same applies to Crimson Desert. And from the reports last month, Marathon sold something like 1.2 million units in the launch window. So it definitely did better than most people thought it was going to do. But of course, since then, there's lots of talk about player numbers. We know that Steam is the primary platform for the game, and we have seen a pretty heavy drop-off of that player base over the first month, but that's fairly typical for extraction shooters, where Marathon does kind of fall into very much the expected format in that genre, right? So how it plays out long term, we'll just have to wait and see. Paul Tassi kind of elaborates on where Bungie could be going here, highlighting that Marathon is not PlayStation's next Concord, but he says pretty soon there will have to be a switch to pursue more casual players, and the indications are that that has already started with the more even playing field sponsor kit mode and the event that incentivizes players to show mercy to each other for bonus gear, although that has resulted in plenty of trolling as well. And interestingly, Marathon has just gone on sale on Xbox, which apparently is the worst performing platform for the game. Of course, it released at $40 and now it's on sale at $32, which isn't massively surprising if that is indeed the smallest platform for the game. But this is where it gets interesting.
It's expected.
There'll be a mix of emotions here, certainly from Destiny players. Paul Tassi posted, according to his sources at Bungie, more Bungie devs are working on Marathon than Destiny now. So Marathon continues to try and retain and attract players, with Bungie launching the game a month ago, and Sony is eyeing to see if it can break PlayStation's recent live service curse. But Bungie's primary live service, Destiny 2, is fading quickly with a lack of updates, and it may not surprise you that Destiny 2 is not in fact Bungie's primary live service anymore, or at least it's a close tie.
It's unfortunate.
Say up front here, there may technically be more folks at Bungie working on the Marathon franchise overall. We have to keep in mind, not all of that is about game development, right? There are plenty of other positions. Some of them in the studio will be shared across all things that Bungie are doing. Then of course you got marketing, management, and various other aspects of working on the franchise and releases separate to actual game development. And when you think about it, Destiny hasn't had anything new since Renegades, so it certainly isn't going to have, hundreds of people working on its marketing team, for instance. So in some ways, it's actually not major news, and it certainly shouldn't be really surprising to anyone. But from Paul Tassie's article, my sources at Bungie confirmed to me that while previously Destiny had a fairly significant edge in devs working on the game, now, of the 800 or so remaining Bungie employees, it's more evenly split, with Marathon edging out Destiny 2 by a bit. And
my worry, I think now, is higher ups at Bungie are going to see, oh, Destiny is not getting a lot of players, people aren't coming back as much, so we should pull more support from Destiny and put it towards Marathon because people are there. When they are the reason people aren't going back to Destiny as much, is my concern. Because I don't know if it's going to happen like that. It really feels like it, based off of just how these companies are. They'll cause a shitstorm and then wonder why they can't see. And it's bad.
Highlights, the two games will share some amount of logistics support within Bungie. Yet previously, information on the original split was a combination of comments from Joe Ziegler and reporting from Jason Schreier, who said that after layoffs and cancellations, about 300 of Bungie's 850 employees were working on Marathon, with around 550, the clear majority, still working on Destiny 2. But at launch, and now post-launch, those two sections of the company have been drawn neck and neck, and getting Marathon some momentum is obviously the larger priority for Bungie at the moment. The issue that's pretty clear to players looking at both games is that Marathon is a game with 4 maps and 6 classes currently, while Destiny 2 has previously been sustained by a constant stream of PvE content, and at least formerly PvP content, and that fell by the wayside much before this, with the majority of that team heading to Marathon a long time ago. And development on Marathon, despite its size, may be much harder than it looks from the outside. But
that's, I think that's the beginning of the problems. Is rather than hiring people for Marathon specifically, they pulled people from Destiny. They pulled successful teams from an environment they knew, put them in a place where they weren't replaced. Nobody filled that role on the Destiny side, so it just fell to the wayside. PvP has been dry for a long time because they pulled the PvP team, map designers, balance, like people that coded balance changes and everything, pulled them from Destiny, put them into this new game that would come out years later, and didn't think we should have someone to fill that spot. And we're seeing that again now, I think, with the current delay we've had, where it's been half a year with no content because all the people that were doing that went to go make stuff for Marathon, a game that didn't make what they were hoping it would. It's an extraction shooter. It's a good game, but it's an extraction shooter that you're competing with probably the most popular extraction shooter, like, not too long after release. And your main audience doesn't play extraction shooters. They're MMO and, like, kind of arcade shooter players. People aren't... It's like World of Warcraft. You're not going to go from World of Warcraft to Forza. You know, that's that kind of shift. That doesn't normally correlate. Obviously, some players will play both, will like both, or you'll get a new audience, but if your majority of your play base is in a different genre, it's not going to translate as well as they thought. And I think that's a trap they're falling into again. Halo Studios, formerly 343, said they're no longer making a Halo Battle Royale, they're looking to make a Halo extraction shooter. So they're already hitting that pivot point of like, our play, like, trying to figure out what is the next big hit. And I think they're going to fall into the same trap.
But compared to the previous scale of Destiny 2, it wouldn't have been close. And I think obviously when we look at the fact that Renegades dropped in December, then Bungie went very quiet in the 3 months leading up to Marathon's launch. There's a correlation between Marathon obviously requiring resources to get over the line and that very quiet period in Destiny. But Paul Tassi goes on and says, D2's PvE content has dried up for months now, and there's another month and a half before anything of significance is added to the game. But after that, there's still...
Hello, Oatmeal. And again for this. PvP has dried up for months now because they've pulled people and support away. So as you pull more people away because you're using the justification of there's more people on Marathon's side than Destiny, you're the reason there's more people there because you already drew support from it. So again, it's farting and complaining about a smell. Like, you're the reason. It's your fault. You know? Zev, Oatmeal, how are you doing today on this fine Thursday? So, like, them saying, like, hey, stuff is drying up. It's like, yeah, that's your fault. You know? It's not really something you can... that you can complain about, I think. I know Bungie's not complaining about it like this, but you know what I mean? It's... my worry is still they're gonna see a symptom they caused and use it to as like their base to keep pulling support.
At least 3 months until one of Destiny 2's smaller expansions,
Imperia?
assuming that one of those expansions still exists, given the almost total lack of communication on the longer-term future of the game.
Oh, so yeah, the idea of just, hey, we're gonna buckle down and not say anything when you already weren't giving us any info, a little crazy, but also like, hey, in 40-something days, your next, like, thing comes out, maybe you should talk about it at least a little bit, you know? Like, I get if, I get if there's something you're, like, trying to focus or it's something secret you don't want to share. But at the point where we have nothing, I think you should probably say something. Even if it's just, like, give us a teaser. We keep hearing about new weapons and armor coming for random things. Show a screenshot of a weapon. And I've been saying it for a while, until you show me how you make a weapon, how you do your systems, I'm assuming you're inept. Because they said they couldn't increase the drop rates in an event that still had like 4 or 5 days left in the event, and we would have to wait till June. If you can't just tweak one thing that says, hey, the gun should drop a little better or a little faster, what are we doing? You know? Or like, you can't just take a gun, put it on a new system. There's got to be something that you can do to show you know what you're doing and you are actually working on something valuable. And not just another reskin of a reskin we've had. Which I feel like that's what we're gonna get.
More resources and personnel are switching to Marathon may not be the biggest shock. However, it's the first time, in Paul Tassi's words, that he can confirm such a change compared to the last that we'd heard about this. So the question now is if more will move over, or once Marathon settles, may it swing back towards an attempt to revive D2? And that is kind of the big question, really. But he says the idea that around 400 people can sustain Destiny 2, a game that used to have almost the entirety of Bungie's 1,000 employees working on it in some capacity, feels like a reach. And it sure seems like we have even less than 40% of the content we used to get at Destiny's peak.
It's because we do.
And
stuff.
On this front, we should keep in.
They also have the thing of like, at this point in the game, You cannot be removing stuff. Things need to be either semi-permanent or just a permanent mode. The fact you are still removing content seasonally, or just, hey, there's an activity people really like, or things, I still think they should just open the vault. I don't care if stuff is broken or bad or buggy at this point. Just having more to do, or just, hey, you can have weapons not on the tier system. I think that's fine, right? Put the old seasonal weapons, the old planetary weapons, just dump them in the loot pool for world drops. Throw them all into the thing with Zer and the Star Horse. Just put them out, so you're just flooding people with weapons some people haven't had before or had in years. It's not new, but it's different. Being able to go, I have a blast furnace again, or I have a pluperfect, or I have a trophy hunter, or I have any of these weapons, or the armor for visuals, just dropping again. I think we'll have people genuinely come back of like, I need the armor for ornaments. I want to have this weapon again. And people will try to get it. It won't bring back a ton of people, but it will start to bring people back. And if it's not just a thing where you can just flip a switch or drag, take one thing out of a box, put it in another, then the system is too convoluted to work. And at that point, again, it's like, what are we doing?
In mind that Bungie, when they implemented all of the kind of core changes to Destiny 2 for Edge of Fate, the portal, the power climb, the gear...
By the way, all the changes he's mentioning, Bungie knew beforehand and were told, these are not good changes. They went ahead with it anyway.
Tiering systems and things like that. The idea was to kind of get those systems in place and then focus on delivering content inside of that platform, I suppose.
They were told the portal sucked. They were told gear tiering needed some work. They were told modifiers and things like this were not the way to go by creators they invited and by community people they invited. And Bungie went, I'm gonna do my own thing, despite paying people to be there, flying people out, paying for accommodations, hosting them for a week, and just going, is what it is. And now you've had to spend past 2 years undoing all of that because you didn't listen in the first place.
And the reality is, if Bungie are kind of trying to move away from the portal and the rigidness that they've kind of implemented with those systems, then that means they've adopted a massive amount of work that wasn't really intended to have to be done again, right?
It wasn't intended to have to be done again. If you didn't fart in the room, you wouldn't be smelling it. It's your own problem. If you had listened to the people you invited to be there, or their, like, they invited creators to get their opinion. That's the whole point of inviting people. Not just, hey, look at this new shiny thing. It's, hey, play this for an hour. What do you think? Hey, can you try this out? See how this feels? Does this need to be tweaked? Do you think this is a good idea? How do you think this will play out? Because content creators are your best, like, sources of data. They have thousands, millions of people readily available. So does Bungie. Bungie could just put out a poll. Not that they'd listen. But content creators need to be tapped in more so than Bungie does to their community because they make content. If people won't watch the content is bad, they switch it. You see that with all the Destiny creators going to Marathon, going to Arc creators, checking out all these other games. Astrocross is playing Deadlock. Deadlock again. And Marathon. Because there's nothing in Destiny. And as communities followed. They know what their community wants. So you want them because they have the opinions you need of just more than just, hey, I want everything back in the game. They will get actual ideas and criticism and critiques that are actionable. And yet Bungie, this last time, took, I think it was 30 creators. 30 to 40 creators 10 to 20 community members, brought them to Bungie for a week, took notes of everything they talked about, and didn't listen to any of it. Because from what I've seen and heard, every creator was like, yeah, I told them the portal sucks. And yet, shiny brand new thing that Bungie put out was the portal. And immediately, they were hit with the realization of, oh, they were telling the truth. They were right. It does suck. Nobody likes it. And then had to come to terms with like, oh, well, why didn't you like it? We shit in your cereal. Why won't you eat it? What do you mean? And they found out a year later there's a bug in the game that the community has talked about and asked about, and they're like, oh, I guess we'll look at it. How do you not notice this? At what point do you just start firing the people that aren't listening instead of the people trying to do what the community wants? Because I will always point the finger at the higher ups rather than devs, because they're the ones that actually make the decisions. Tyson Green, the director, everything that is a major fundamental change to the game has to go through him. And the moment stuff came out that people didn't like and things turned around, we have not heard from him. If the portal was a success, I think we'd be hearing from Tyson Green weekly. But because nobody likes it, he doesn't want to get in the line of fire, so he lets the community devs and every other developer with a public Twitter or public social media stand in the firing line. He's a coward. All the managers are there because they don't listen. They constantly cause their own problem and then fire the people that wanted to avoid it. That is the main problem. And I have the feeling that they're going to use the fact that Destiny is declining because of their own decision to make this mess and use that to pull more support to give to Marathon. And then a year or a couple years from now, Marathon's going to be in the same boat. That's going to be what it is. Because that's how every single one of these companies functions.
Right? And so when we look at the delay that we've got now, other bugs and issues and things which feel like they're not really being addressed in Destiny 2,
they're not.
Will be having a very significant impact on it, because Bungie are back at the drawing board in terms of kind of foundational systems again, where the intention was to actually be focusing on new content. And so we're going to have to just see how this pans out. Paul Tassi finishes by saying the future of both games is not yet clear. Destiny 2 was supposed to press forward with this new smaller expansion and mid-season update model, but that's obviously running into significant issues even just in year one, whereas Marathon will continue balance patching and working on future seasons with new maps, runners, and all-important microtransactions, but with a rapid departure of players, it may need to make significant changes to draw less hardcore players in. And if we are in a world where the split is still fairly even, while I'm not a game developer and I might be wrong about this, but it doesn't look like Marathon seasons necessarily are planned to introduce masses of content, right? While all of the seasons require a fair degree of work, there's an element where the game was supposed to be somewhat self-sustaining, right? The same plan that Bungie had hoped for with the Edge of Fate systems. And if they indeed do have nearly a majority of developers still working on Marathon, in terms of producing actual content, that could also mean, or
crazy to me,
at least, that Bungie might be trying to develop something different for Marathon, like a PvE mode or whatever it might be. That's just one example. Because as it stands, Bungie's plan is to have a new runner shell in the June update, some new guns, sandbox components, of course contracts and quests, which there's a narrative element to that as well, and that requires a fair degree of work, I imagine. But otherwise, they're doing a nighttime mode of one of the maps. And I know this is Bungie, but I certainly can't imagine the same amount of dev input is required to do that versus generating a completely different game mode or something, right? So I think if this is a representation of where Bungie's current split is, then it indicates that Bungie are going to do something different with Marathon, although that could still take many months, right? It could be for year 2 or beyond. But I certainly hope that Bungie continue developing and have a legitimate plan for some kind of Destiny 2 support that is meaningful, especially when we look at the player numbers all around as it stands right now. You could basically guarantee as soon as Destiny 2 actually gets some kind of interesting content, that far more players are going to engage with that than are going to engage with Marathon, especially in the middle of a season. Because even look.
So when the June update comes out, people are going to come back to Destiny, right? That's how it normally is. People are waiting for this June update. We've been promised the moon and the stars for this update. A lot of your player base, like I said, is from Destiny. You will get players from other communities, other genres, but a lot of your player base is Destiny. People are going because it's a Bungie title. At some point, I think Marathon is going to end up becoming like a Destiny Light. It's going to have a PvE mode. It has the PvP. It's going to have a trade hub, probably. They're going to add these systems back because that's what's worked before, and we're going to end up in the same situation. It's a cycle. It's an Ouroboros.
Looking on Steam, in Marathon's, lowest player count hours of the day, it's now getting within just a couple of thousand players of what Destiny 2 has on its smallest platform, and that's while Destiny 2 has no new content.
And again, they're different genres, so they have different needs. Marathon being an extraction shooter does not need constant updates and like, hey, you can have the same map and runners and whatever, and because it's like a win-lose cycle for gaming, you can span out or like space out updates more than you can with Destiny that needs constant news content to stay fresh. Right? If you are grinding Destiny and you get the gun you wanted, you're probably not going to do that activity again. Not for a while. Whereas like Marathon, if you go in, you die, you lose your stuff, well, you have to play again to get more. You can't just reacquire everything unless you insure it. The grind for each game is different, allowing for a different spacing for content. So Marathon going down to this level is kind of expected for extraction shooters. That's normal. For Destiny, imagine if World of Warcraft had 4,000 players. I doubt Blizzard would keep that going. They would pivot to something else. But I think right now, for Blizzard, Overwatch, and I think World of Warcraft are their two main drivers. Still. So the Heroes of the Storm got an update, I think almost purely because they released a new Juno skin. Like, it was Juno or Kiriko. I think the skin sales for one of those heroes could fund a video game. So the player count matters, but not as much different on genres, or depending on genres.
And I know active or concurrent player counts are not the most important thing necessarily, but it's hard to imagine a world where Destiny 2 literally has more players, yet Bungie continue to take resources away. That's just my perspective though, and I'm no professional in terms of the games industry, so you'll have to give me your thoughts down below. We'll see how it pans out, but Bungie are expected to announce their plan, their something, in either May or early June, so we'll see what Destiny 2's future is looking like as of that point in time. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you've enjoyed the conversation today, a rating would very much help us out, and be sure to hit subscribe so I can keep you up to date with more content. But
so that was Houndish, right? And like, man, I just want the game to be good and succeed. And that seems to be the complete like opposite of Bungie. Okay. Now for the TWID. This week in Destiny, we have a new community challenge ready for you, straight from the desk of the Vanguard Commander, Zavala. Not too fancy. Put on some amazing weapons, defeat enemies of humanity, get something great as a reward. Okay. Community challenge, an emblem, charity thing, and new activities, maybe. The team is heads down, working towards our June update. You've been doing that for a while. We're aiming for more information to be rolling out by mid-May on what to expect for our next update. As we approach that time frame, we'll have a full calendar of sandbox tuning and quality of life changes to run through. It is a little longer, hopefully. Among other things, until then, let's get down to business with a fresh community challenge. Please don't just be an emblem. Please be an actual reward. It's time for a new D2 community challenge. Since the launch of Edge of Fate, Guardians have earned some potent weapons through Vanguard orders, fireteam operations, or directly from Zavala by completing the previous week's reward track. Now it's time to show our commander we are putting those tools to good use. Goal of the challenge is simple. Defeat enemies across the system with weapons that have been or will be part of Zavala's armory. We will be keeping track of how many you've defeated with a bit of help from our friends in the analytics team. There's like 2 people there maybe. So you only have to focus on the task. Here's what you need to know about the challenge. Equip at least one of the weapons below. Good Shout, Horror's Least, Sciaturna, Hawthorne's Field Forge, Shotgun, Mida, Macro Tool, Unfall, or Mint Retrograde. Using any of these, take down enemies in PvE, reach the collective goal of 15 million kills, and you will get an emblem. Sick. That's great. Cool. That's cool. It binds. General reminder for those of you who completed our last gameplay challenge, the It Binds emblem is now in your inventory. That's cool. Charity thing. Okay. For an emblem. Can we get like an actual reward? Like even a shader or a ship, a ghost, a sparrow, an ornament. Nobody. If you donate $25, you can get the emblem. What to play in Destiny 2 this weekend. As we approach the weekend, we'll see what activities will be available in D2. We have some weekly rituals, Trials of Osiris, our prestige game mode or weekend game mode for PvP. And remember, you also have some weekly challenges to boost your progression. You may be able to hear my dog snoring beside me. Crucible Portal Playlist. Showdown. Crucible Legacy. Elimination Mayhem. Grandmaster. Arms Dealer. Trials of Osiris. Meltdown. Okay. Known issues. The triple laureate hand cannon is missing firing audio. Okay. Players who still have Legacy Anomalous Object Quest cannot complete it. Great. The Veiled Haunting Sleeves ornament can come into player's view when using certain weapons. Okay. Which one is that? Oh no, I can see my arms. I guess that's a problem. Actively being in Transcendence will prevent Spirit of Galanor from refunding super energy. Okay. Tempest Strike cannot be used with a Renegade ability jammer, or while a jammer is active. Lovely Titan. Okay. Very cool. Put on a glaive, 200 melee, success. I'm not looking at Reddit for that. And that's it. I don't even. brother. Oh. You know, I don't even know what to do with that, man. So we're gonna work on some hunter builds. Get ready for dungeon prep with stuff. Uh, uh, ba, 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 ba. Okay. So I'm gonna try to do prophecy with Manny. Tonight, if we do stuff, it'll probably be a lore stream with prophecy. Um, touch grass. Bungie. You. Okay, yeah. Sure. Sure. I'll do those later. So, let's see. Currently, I think the best solar hunter is fish. Good one, fisherman. That's in pineapples streams. That's not here. What are people using for this? Community builds. Let's see. Llama has one. Okay, what do we think? Hand cannon or sniper? What do we think, chat? Or rocket launcher? Hand cannon? Okay. Most recent build is from December. Okay, let's try this one. Hunter knife nuke build. Uses Ophidia, which I don't have. Sunshot the Cell Apex Predator. Okay, so sidearm. I'm just blind entirely. The call. Do I have a roll of the call? I didn't have it selected, so of course I wouldn't see it. Apex Predator. I thought I had one. Dim. I don't have one. Okay. Ascendancy I think would work probably. Roar the Bear would be good. And then Ophidia's. And this actually has a gameplay loop attached to it, which is nice. Okay. This is not the playlist I was hoping for. Hello? There you go. There you go. Dude, I put on like a playlist with a specific one. Spotify decides, actually, I think you want this one instead. Okay, so it needs knives, gambler's dodge. Okay. When I revive an ally, I get restoration, or picking up a fire spray gives me restoration. Defeating a scorched target creates a fire spray. Solar weapon and ability final blows extend duration of restoration. And then a powered melee attack makes me radiant. Okay. Well, if it's melee focused, then I should probably focus that. But that. I guess that works. Yeah, we'll just keep boosting up melee. Let's see. Why is that? Okay. Do that one. Double grenade. So 133 melee. Okay, we're switching the playlist. There we go. Okay. So the way this works, what is this? Yeah, I mentioned this earlier quickly. This is stupid. They should not be doing this. People don't like extraction. Okay. It was the same with battle royales. People don't like a battle royale or an extraction shooter. They like the company making it. Or the franchise it's in. Right? People don't like Marathon because it's an extraction shooter. They like it because it's an aesthetic and it's Bungie with the gameplay. People don't like Arc Raiders because it's an extraction shooter. They like it because of the gameplay around the part of extracting with loot. Nobody likes Tarkov, right? Battle Royales. How many Battle Royales came out and died because companies were chasing this trend? People like Fortnite because of the skins. They don't like Fortnite for the gameplay. It's the same with hero shooters. It's not the fact that something's a hero shooter. It's characters, an art style, franchise, whatever, or the company that people like. Overwatch was a new IP. People didn't like Overwatch because of just the hero shooter capture the flag thing that's existed for a while as a format. People like it because it's a company they like, and characters. Rivals, people like because it's Marvel, not necessarily the gameplay. Halo Studios is, whoever is doing this either isn't looking at the right data, or they're the dumbest person to hire. This is not a good idea. You know that thing of like survivor bias? Or not survivor bias. What's the thing of like an airplane with holes in the wings coming back, so you reinforce the wings? The only reason Marathon and Arc Raiders are successful right now aren't because they're extraction shooters, and every other company's missing it. I think Halo, if they wanted to chase a genre, Halo should go the maybe the Helldiver, or like the Battlefield route, or Battlefront. Like if they did a thing of, hey, here's 50 elite fighting 50 Spartans on a map, like how Battlefront has the droids and the clones. Do that. Have a couple ODST drop in. If you want to do an extraction shooter, do it that way. Because Helldivers is an extraction shooter. Or just make another Halo game. You don't need to chase a genre. Oh. Why? I don't I don't get it. I get wanting to do what's popular. That's what content creators and like people in a ton of other fields do. They do what's currently the hot new thing. Sometimes though, you could just do your own thing. You don't gotta follow the trend. They're the new meta the same way that like um I don't even think they're the new meta. Every video game company is gonna want to cash in and have a game in the genre. And the concept of extraction shooters are not new, and games like Tarkov have been doing it. Yeah, but like I just said though, people don't like extraction shooters. They like the company or the franchise it's in. Right? If Fortnite started it, I think, in that way of popularizing it. People didn't like Fortnite though because of the gameplay after a bit. It was a fresh new thing, so people were jumping on it and they liked it. Can you honestly tell me people like Fortnite because of the gameplay? Well, that's what I mean. It's either the game, like, the game itself, I would say, is because of Bungie. Bungie has really good guns. Shooting a gun, using it, feels great in a Bungie game, right? The aesthetics are a part of that. People don't like Fortnite because it's an extract, or it's like a battle royale. They like it because of the skins. Because I can make General Grievous do the gritty with Peter Griffin. That's what people like to do. There are more people playing the Steal a Brain Rot mode than there are doing the Battle Royale mode. So obviously, Battle Royale isn't popular. Apex Legends is the company, not the genre. That's why people liked Apex. Rivals and Overwatch, people like the characters and the company more than the genre. That's why people were asking for a PvE mode. They didn't care if it just stuck to a hero shooter. They just wanted the characters. Marathon is good because it's got good gunplay and a good aesthetic. If Marathon was any other genre of game with those two same things, people would still play it. It has a good arsenal, yeah. So, if in Arc Raiders, it being an extraction shooter is not why people play Arc Raiders. They like how the weapons feel, the world, and the interactions. If Arc Raiders stuck to what it was going to be of a PvP co-op shooter, a looter shooter like how Destiny was, people would still play it, I think. No. My argument isn't that the company is big. People like the company for its reputation. Bungie has the reputation of having good gunplay for 2 decades. Halo and Destiny is the reputation they rode on. People don't like Blizzard, right? But you will see people you'll see someone say, Blizzard is a horrible company, and then they'll boot up World of Warcraft. So it's the reputation that company has, or what they're known for, not necessarily the people or the actual company. When you play a Bungie game, you know you are getting something that'll feel good to play. Like, the guns will feel good. The abilities, whatever, feels good. But if you load up an extraction shooter from some just like random company that's just churning it out because that's the new thing, it's not gonna feel good. It's gonna feel bad. That's why at the Game Awards and at whatever, they have so many games that just take up the middle slots that people forget. Because how many games have we seen that's like a Souls-like? That's either Japanese, Chinese aesthetic, or medieval Europe as like one of the two things. And like you see it once, you never hear from it again. Because people don't care about the genre. People like a genre, but they don't care about every game of the genre. They go specifically to either a company or a franchise they like. There's been hero shooters, there's been extraction shooters, battle royale games. Genres have been flooded because of all the new game companies. Things only really get big if they have something new, right? Or they're from that company. Halo deciding, hey, let's make an extraction shooter, is them trying to kill the game. Just full on. There is no other reason. Microsoft is trying to kill the studio. It'll fail. The same way Infinite did. Infinite died because they had no content. That's all it is. Because, like, Arc Raiders being big isn't because it was an extraction shooter. It was meant to be a looter shooter. It's big because it was the company behind the finals, and people liked the finals because it was a new thing. People did not like the finals because it was a hero shooter. It was the style of the game. You know what I mean? Hmm. Okay. So this is a melee focused hunter build. What do I have to do quest-wise? Gambit? You're funny if you think I'm doing Gambit. So next we gotta do Beyond Light tonight. Or not tonight, but maybe next week. If we do stuff on Manny tonight, we'll be doing a lore stream. Watching Bike's video and talking about it. Aggro crabs? Are they talking about it? Crash Out Crew. Oh, is this the forklift one? Yeah. Like, again, Crash Out Crew also counts for this.
Guardian, good running
Hello,
tactical
girl.
for you again. This is where the Dark Ether Trail went cold. Oh, Petra's calling. I'll patch her into the feed. Petra, did you lose some scorn on Earth?
Not exactly. Riven tells us an Ahamkara claims territory in this region.
I've patrolled this range dozens of times. I'd have noticed a dragon.
They have a history of eluding you, but we'll get to the bottom of this.
So, we will be playing. Probably. I think Friend Slop is probably the best example of my argument, though. How many companies have released a 4-player co-op game? Most recently, there's been that one with, like, the poop one, or whatever. People don't care about the slop, or, like, the game. They care about the company. People liked Peak for the company. I think that'll be the only reason we see that one getting popular in that way. When I played the demo, it was fun. It was fun. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of games are fun. But people will only stay if they like the things surrounding the game. A lot of genres are fun. I love MMOs. But I only stick with the ones that I like the stuff around the MMO part. You know? I won't play an MMO just because it's an MMO. The reason I play Destiny is because I like the gunplay and the abilities and everything about it. I don't like it just because it's a shooter. The only reason COD is still popular
Is bone all that's left?
is
Not
reputation
much of a territorial
and skins.
claim.
It's the same as
Death
Fortnite.
is not the end for an Ahamkara. If it's feeding, it exists.
That bone's radiating sterile neutrinos.
Because, like, when I was playing COD, it's just the same gameplay. The only reason people like it is the gunplay, the movement, and the reputation. And then you can have Nicki Minaj and a Gundam fighting Warhammer people on the same map. That's it. People don't like COD because it's a shooter. I think I also played the demo. Did they say how much the game is going to be? Or is it undetermined? It's undetermined. Okay. We'll know when it comes out? Yeah. Okay, Arc. Bolt Charge Moth Hunter. What do I think about this game? Uh, it's a weird looking axe design. It looks a little rough. Trains, okay. Rockets. Character looks familiar. Q3. What is this publish history? Early access game. Okay. So are they just like a publisher? Battle Royale FPS. Crazy loadout system. It's gonna be something they're not gonna show us, I guess? Okay. Developer and publisher. This is... This looks like the type of game I would gift Rhett to play for like an hour on stream to make a video out of. I'm guessing they're probably more of a publisher for just indie devs to just get started on like their career. Texture-wise, it looks rough. Like it's not even how like Power World switches art style, right? For things. Like you have low tech, high tech, whatever for Power World. This is just genuinely, I think, store assets that they've put in. Or this is someone's like first modeling attempt, and maybe the avatar is a store asset. Just because. Thank you, miss. These are very rough models and textures, except for the characters. Like you can see how flat everything looks, except for them. They have detail, they have shadows, texture, everything. Shading. And yeah, that's just like, I see the vision, but Nova, okay. Nova's an Arc mod dev, so I feel like if Nova's keeping an eye on it, then maybe it's something. Games like that, it's so easy to just flip the assets for that, you know? That I get kind of, not antsy, but hesitant to look at it in a good light. I don't know, something about it just is weird to me. I'm trying to find a good, like, arc build. Data has one from 24. Oh. It's basically a Titan build for hunters. Mactix. Mactix is good. We got good stuff. Do I have Moth Keepers? No, I don't. I don't have Moth Keepers at all. Fantastic. Assassin's Creed Black Flag resynced. Oh, I know this audio is gonna get claimed. It looks good. So is this like a remix? Or not a remix, a remaster type thing? Or are they remake? I don't know, that seems cool. I need to grab this again. Do I have Bacchus? I think I do. No, I don't. Damn it, man. I don't have any of it. Let's see, what else could I do? It's either like an exotic weapon or armor piece I don't have. So I never played Assassin's Creed. But I know Black Flag was one people liked. I do have Gifted, okay. Ba ba ba. Speed loaders. Okay. What do you think? 1, 2, or 3, chat? For a build. Either using Raid and Flux, Raiju's, or Gifted. Thinking more on the probably Raiden. Or Ryujin's could work. Gathering Storm. Did I not buy that? Look at the price. $80, yeah. It's pretty standard. It's pretty standard from what I've seen. Who's paying that much for Assassin's Creed? Fans, I'm guessing. I mean, I never played Black Flag, so I don't know. People that want to play a new one. Isn't Black Flag like the most popular one? Or is that a different? Hey, Maple. Hi. Yes, I love you too. It's okay. I'm staying here, miss. If you want, you're gonna have to find someone. Do I have a vault shut? Oh. Check dim. Now with I don't have the role talking about. Oh, no, I do. Hullabaloo. I don't have chain reaction, but I have the volt shot, so. Oh, no. That one I'll get rid of. Wow. Amazing. I don't have the roll I need. And then bad juju. Pulse rifle. Tell 'em hey. Okay. So this one is for a grenade focus. Ah. Okay. This one specifically I'll put on grenade. Chest piece. I'm gonna be up close, so do those. Do that one. Plus a nade. Yeah, melee's good for this. Well, maybe a little more to class would be better. Okay, yeah. So icon for arc. Fuck. No, I messed it up. And then a light blue. Hi, Maple. Hello, miss. Hi. Can I help you? What? What is your... What is your problem? Maple's freaking out because of the wind. Okay. So I'll try this one out. I don't have another set I can use. This is focused around solar. So the armor can change, but Graviton, probably not. I think I have Orpheus. No, speed loaders. You do Orpheus. Or I don't even know what's like a good Void Hunter one that's not around. Most of these are like 2024. We'll run Orpheus rigs. Here you go, Maple, it's okay. Mint Retrograde, Leviathan's Age-Old Bond. I have one. Sure. And then levies. Okay. So instability. What is this one? Persistence? Increased duration on stuff. Grenades gonna be volatile. Void Breach, grants Devour. Void Grenades weaken. Okay. So that'll apply to the levies and bond. Oh, the color's right. Yeah, that's a little better. Okay, void. Shadow Shot and Mobius Quiver, which I have. Okay, so we should be good for whatever we need to run. I didn't even look at the armor mods. Again, it's a grenade focus. Legs, you want possibility. Ooh, grenade, 100%. Okay. So we should be good now. Now we can do the fun part. Books. Okay, we'll do like a stalker kind of look for the hunter. I think maybe I can make that look more like grass. So if you were banned from being on planet Earth, what other planet would you go to? In our system, I don't know, Mars. Outside of our system, I don't know. I do like this helmet on Hunter, but conflicts a little too much. You're fine, miss. Yeah, we'll go with this helmet. You would colonize Mars and start your own No Man's Sky adventure? Yeah, probably. Am I able to make this look more like grass? Probably not. It's animated. Okay. Pivot. We go kind of techie. Who's about carrying armor piece? Why not have it? I don't have it. Huh. One's not bad. Oh, I don't like the pulse. Damn it, man. If this didn't have the, like, pulsing red across all of the metal, this is, like, great. It's not bad. It's not bad. Uh, I think I like that. What do we think, chat? Like a cybernetic hunter type thing? I think that works. Okay. We can do a superhero look for this. Could do the scorpion one, maybe. I can kind of see that working, maybe. Ooh. No. Not with the pants. Definitely not. The chest piece is just hard to work with. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. Ah. I'm not set on the look, but I think this might be... It's not bad. I'm not set on the look. Uh, I'm not set on it. We'll keep it. Solar. We're the same. It's more ornate. So we can kind of fit with that theme. It's almost gladiator-ish. Uh, that one works. That's not bad. Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's see. What more do we have to do? Let's see. I don't have as much prep until if we do more stuff, Manny and I, so it's okay, Maple. It's just the wind. Hey Zev, are you here? I have a question for you. On if you've seen something. I don't think he's here. Uh, let's see. A new legally distinct creature collector. Interesting. It's just Pokemon. What is this? Can I ever either have a pet cat or a monkey? Okay, so what relevance do cats have to pirates? Cats were believed to have miraculous powers that could protect ships from dangerous weather. Okay. Oh, this is like... Whoa, whoa, whoa. Some weird mouse thing. Keto. Which is this? Okay. Mole. What is this? Oh no, that's keto. Gorus. Okay. Klamuka? Alright. Codish. Buchanan. Foxy, there's like a Garo? Garo? Is it probably like an Anubis? That's probably just gonna be a Lucario. Crab. Chandelier? This thing has 3 stages. What is, like, oh no, it's a cat? It has no nose. Weirgull? Bomboya? Minoya? Socan? Tankacan? Fully customize it. Okay, stats. Okay. Rule, stage, move, unit, ability, item, avatar. Okay. Challenge your friends. So I think... Okay. That's... Is that one I'm guessing? Yeah. Take on the Olympus. Gryffindor. That's just a fat cat with wings. That looks like Darkrai's Mega Form. Okay. Olympus Rangers. Send this to Zev. Where is Zev? Is he in... He's in there. Interesting. Okay. A new legally distinct, highly customizable creature battler. Let's take a look at it. It might just be Pokemon, yeah. Yeah, I think we're done Destiny for now. Do you have any other news stuff that you've seen, Zev? I do like, okay, the fact, I'm pausing so I can talk. The fact that you can, like, make your own Pokemon, and, or creature, sorry, and upload it is cool. I like that. Official trailer for Looks Maxing short film. I don't even think I can, like, watch that on stream, but that's... You know, I know people have said it before, but the whole thing with looks maxing, when I've looked at, like, what people actually talk about and what the goal of it, it's just to get other dudes to look at you. Which they say they're not gay, but it seems like none of them have said they like the women that are around them. So I feel very confused on what the goal of this is. What do you think about it, Zev? You already know who the movie's about? Yeah, I don't know. The only person I know there's a bunch of people that do the looks maxing bullshit. The only one I know is Clav. It seems like he'd rather OD in a club than talk to women. So, you know, I guess that's sure. Of course, that's gonna take the mini player away. Thank you, Spotify. I've been trying to like look through, see if I have anything interesting. Not, and I haven't really found anything. I've seen like drama stuff, not like drama like content creator things, but just people arguing about whatever random crap, and it's nothing. Like Overwatch, people are upset about Wu Yang. I think there's some like ship that the devs are pushing that community doesn't like because of course they don't. And I've seen some dumb stuff about that Pragmata game. It's wild. All right. Here's what we're gonna do, chat. I think what we're gonna do, because I have to cook food soon. And I need to have lunch, because I have not eaten today. I'm gonna raid us into Itty. Because Itty's doing... Itty or Devoid? They're doing training. Practice for stuff, so... Let's go over to Itty. Idioms. Tonight we will be doing more Destiny with Matney. Going over lore and other story stuff. And that'll be in like maybe 6 hours or something. But I'm gonna go eat, chat. Thank you for coming. The VOD will be up on the YouTube channel, linked below. Discord for notifications if you're on the YouTube side. Thank you for watching. Twitch is below also. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Go eat, go drink.